We're actually, this is, a lot of talk about general AIs, and there was some discussion about vertical. So we're going to really dive in on one very awesome vertical AI application in healthcare that can really affect people's lives. And it's an interesting story about, I think, about technology and about startups and how you actually can make an AI-based, machine learning-based startup, and especially in medtech, actually work. So really interesting. I think we're going to begin with the video so people can see what's up, right?
Yeah, so I think we will start with the video just to give everyone at least an overview of the work that we're doing at Analytics for Life, and specifically how we are approaching the problem of diagnosing coronary artery disease, which is a blocked artery that can cause heart attacks. And so this will give at least an overview. As we dive into this a little more, you'll, I think, have a better perspective.
The human body communicates by emitting biosignals. Within these signals is critical information that can be used to assess disease and provide guidance for treatment. Not long ago, a small group of polymaths and computer scientists discovered that by mathematically deciphering critical patterns and relationships within the data, and then using machine learning, they could create technology to localize and assess disease. That discovery would become the mission and foundation of Analytics for Life. And the technology would become Agilytics, a machine intelligence technology engine that extracts, processes, and analyzes raw data. And when employed with physiologic and clinical outcomes data, it produces clinically relevant algorithms like those embedded in CoreVista. CoreVista is made up of several components that work together. The phase signal acquisition system collects and records a full spectrum of physiologic signals and stores this data in a regulatory safe and compliant repository. The phase space tomography analysis analyzes a specific clinical assessment using unique algorithms produced by Agilytics, and a portal for accessing and viewing reports. So, you know how it works. Now, how can it impact the coronary artery disease diagnosis pathway? Today, a typical symptomatic CAD workup guides a patient down a predictable diagnosis pathway, ultimately resulting in angiography. This sequence of testing involves increasing levels of time, cost, and risk in order to improve accuracy and gather clinical information. With CoreVista, we have the potential to redefine that pathway. CoreVista is a breakthrough in medical tomography. It's a powerful tool that accurately distinguishes health from disease, and results are available within a single office visit. CoreVista aims to deliver a 3D tomographic image directly to a dedicated physician portal, allowing physicians to get the right patients to the right therapies faster. The benefits to patients, providers, and insurers are immediate and measurable with this technology, but the potential to identify and impact how other diseases are treated in areas like neurology and oncology will have an even greater chance to improve human health when we listen deeper to the entire spectrum within each signal.
So, and that's great. The video is really, really exciting and also quite dense. So I think maybe if you can describe in your own terms, summarize that back for us all.
We are talking about machine learning and artificial intelligence, which is one part of the system, but really it's a four-part system where we are retrieving naturally occurring energy that is produced by the heart pump, and we transmit that raw data to a cloud repository, and that's really where our cloud computing and our machine learned algorithm takes the raw data, calculates the raw data, and produces three-dimensional image of the heart, where we have predictive analysis or predictive algorithms that have been developed that looks at the critical patterns of these images and can predict which patients have blocked arteries that are potentially related or could be related to a heart attack. Key to the 10 million patients a year who walk in and complain about pain in their chest, you've got to decide which ones of them have a diseased heart and which ones don't. It's the number one killer worldwide in developed countries is coronary artery disease, and what we're trying to do is use modern technology to more efficiently and more accurately determine which patients need treatment.
Great. So can you describe the device? And this is a new device, right?
It is a proprietary device that we designed. It's basically from a whiteboard, and it allows us to collect this phase energy that is being produced repetitively from the cardiac muscles or the cardiac cycle, and we're collecting voltage gradient data in an incredibly precise way in three-dimensional reception using 7 electrodes and 7 sensors that are really off-the-shelf electrodes in a synchronized way that over a 3-minute recording collects 10 million data points that are pushed to the cloud. So being able to provide the precision of the recording device itself was the first big start.
And how did you get that actually working? How did you get it to be so precise and good enough?
What was the question again?
How did you get the quality of this data processing to be kind of at the bar that's needed?
Well, we designed it with the equipment. We got consultants and electrical engineers involved in meeting the requirements that we set out. So the key is we knew that we needed high-fidelity data, signal data, that was highly synchronized, and the synchronization is one of the key parts of the technology, and then get it pushed to the cloud in a very highly secure way. All of this is not overly new technology, but bringing it all together in a single device was not available on the market.
And one of the challenges is when you have an idea like this is, hey, there's a whole new kind of device we can use. Maybe we can use off-the-shelf sensors and wrap them around a person's body and get higher quality data out than these really expensive systems. But then you go down your journey. Why did you think that this would actually work?
Well, this whole system identification really came out of a technology that's been developed for years in military applications. So identifying the signals and identifying whether you're looking at over the horizon at a hot air balloon or a missile that is coming at you is a military application, system identification, using phase space or phase array sensors. And it really was our founder who said, well, if I can identify a missile from chaos, I can certainly identify disease from the chaos coming from the heart. And so it's a military application that has taken the jump to healthcare.
Okay, and so now where is the company in terms of developing this product? What stage are we in?
Yeah, so we are in the final stage of clinical testing. One of the key barriers for medical devices is having very precise data. So we conducted our own clinical trial, multi-center hospital, 13 hospitals in the U.S., and now we're approaching 3,000 patients who have had the system tested, which is equivalent to about 30 billion data points in our database. And we're about 3 months from completing the trial and then submitting with the FDA for approval.
Wow, it's amazing. And how long is the trial? When did the trial start?
The trial started in June of 2016. So we've been going on for about 16 months for 3,000 patients, which is a very big trial in cardiovascular medicine.
Great. And can you say anything about how that's looking so far?
Well, I will say we're very optimistic with the early results. We are presenting at a major cardiovascular convention next week. We have 3 abstracts that will be presenting the data. But one part that's not embargoed is that we were reaching sensitivities that at least is as good as, if not exceeded, all the radiation techniques, which relates to a 92% sensitivity, 62% specificity, which doesn't mean much unless you're a cardiologist, but it means that we can detect heart disease with great accuracy.
And that means you can actually skip these other expensive testing methods entirely. Is that right?
Well, that would be certainly with adoption and learning, that would be a promise that we hold for the future, that we are able to diagnose the disease quicker and more efficiently with less money. So we're talking about $5 billion are being spent in identifying people with heart disease. There's a great opportunity of finding those efficiencies.
Great. And then what was the time from start to, getting to where we are now in terms of this product?
We started in 2012, and so we're looking at approximately 4, maybe 5 years of getting it from concept to an approved product on the market.
So this is like super fast. So what's your secret to that? And what advice would you have for startups if they're trying to do something like this?
Well, one key is certainly if you're developing a medical device, you have to concentrate on quality management system almost from the very beginning. If you do too many experiments or you go too fast without having a quality management system in place, or at least understanding that if you're making a medical device, it's high requirements for quality system. Ultimately, if you don't take the time or the thought, you'll be redoing your even earliest experiments. So my advice in medical development, pharmaceutical development is understand quality first and foremost.
That's great. So if you were thinking someone's got a machine learning startup, they're going to be processing some data and trying to learn and make some predictions, when's the right time to hire people thinking about how good this needs to be and managing quality?
You don't have to hire someone right away, but you have to be aware that quality is a culture. Quality is something that has to be built into medical technology, and you just have to understand what's the concept of design control and quality, and take the earliest step you can to get some expertise in that area.
That's great advice. I think we're done, right? Okay, thank you.